Well, this might look like a line of Black Friday shoppers, but they're here for something far more serious, a basic necessity, affordable public housing.
People stood in line for hours for the opportunity to get affordable housing.
My world, Washington, D.C., the neighborhoods of Washington, D.C., we are facing a severe shortage of those properties, primarily rental properties, that are affordable to lower income households.
A person or family is considered cost burdened by housing if they pay more than 30% of their monthly income toward rent. Affordable housing helps provide these low-income families with access to quality housing. Without affordable options, many families are forced to live in low-quality housing.
Nobody should understate our commitment to providing support for affordable housing because it's a statutory commitment.
It's not being built in this environment. The housing that's being built is for a different income level, for a different family size.
Across the nation, there are 11.2 million extremely low-income or ELI renter households. According to the National Low-Income Housing Coalition, 3/4 of these ELI renters spend more than half of their income toward housing, making them severely cost-burdened.
For those households that earn that type of income and they're out in the market looking for rental housing, affordable rental housing, where they're not paying above 50% of their household income, it's virtually impossible to find that type of housing.
As a result, medical, food, and personal hygiene expenses have to take a backseat to the cost of housing.
If you're facing a situation where you are consuming more and more of your income for housing, when it comes to food, especially if you have children, what will you do? You will not only buy the cheapest, you'll buy the quickest.
Michael Lamaster, a new resident at an affordable housing property in Silver Spring, knows these challenges all too well.
The place that I was living was taking up about 70% of my income for rent, utilities, etc.
But Michael is lucky, as there are only 7.3 million affordable housing units and 11.2 million ELI renters. 3.4 million people still do not have access to an affordable home. But in 2016, progress to improve this crisis was proposed in Congress. The bipartisan Cantwell-Hatch Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act hopes to expand funding and construction for affordable housing nationally.
So the bill that Senator Cantwell has proposed would expand the number of credits available by 50%. We estimate, in the Bipartisan Policy Center estimates that could lead to an increase of 400,000 new affordable housing units over the next 10 years.
The bill proposes to expand LIHTC, the low-income housing tax credit, by 50%.
I think the proof is in the pudding, in that at the end of the day, 90% of all the affordable housing wouldn't be built in this country without this program.
So how does LIHTC, the low-income housing tax credit, work? First, the federal government allocates tax credits to state housing agencies. These tax credits are an amount of money that can be an offset against tax liability. Then state housing agencies reallocate the credits to residential rental developments. The tax credit then goes to the limited partnership, who negotiate with corporate investors to close a deal on the residential property. Corporate investors will then provide funds for the development of the property in exchange for these tax credits. The investors want tax credits because they can write the amount they invested off their own taxes.
So Montgomery Housing Partnership is a nonprofit developer of affordable housing, and so we buy older apartment buildings, we fix them up, we own them over the long term. We use the tax credit program and other special financing sources to make the numbers work, and then we manage and own it over the long term.
Montgomery Housing Partners has constructed hundreds of properties and currently owns and operates 1,400 apartments, condos, and townhomes of suburban Maryland. An act like that of Senator Cantwell and Senator Hatch will allow for the expansion of nonprofits like MH Partners throughout the nation.
So when we talk about developing affordable housing, the role that MHP and nonprofits do, it's really, part of that is because we're mission driven. We're not just about, you know, the money, but we're also about the people and making strong and healthy communities.
It's just allowed me to do so much more than I was able to do before.